Okay, there's a lot of like different products that helping you to create like more power on your wrist and your arm. So the first product that we'll showing to you, this is kind of a cover. You can put your racket in, and like this side, like this, the first product that you can see. And this is like a lot of like hole in between here. And if you, as long as you put your racket in, and you will zip it back to here, and those are for like racket swinging. We're not going to use it for hitting the birdie, but we will actually using like these kind of do like a lot of swinging like this. Then you'll create more power and more your arm strength. This is also a good product for racket speed. Second product that we have here is like for the Yonex cover. The idea is like very similar to the first one, but except they have a piece of like nylon here. And then what we're going to do, we can really using these cover to actually really hitting with the bird. And this cover is really good on like underhand stroke, and also will limit your stroke like getting like too much like arm swinging. And we were using these like before, and also we're using these on some of my top players too. And the very old traditional, they have like these kind of racket, like this is called a heavier racket. And you're going to string the tension like a little bit lower, and then you will using these racket and continue doing. We're actually using this racket to practice and to like play with it. But one thing that we find out, these racket maybe is pretty good for men's doubles or ladies doubles, because the more that you're going to smashing and swinging, you'll create more power on your arm string. But when you're really doing something underhand or like you're whipping a little bit more, then it might easily to hurt your wrist. If you continue doing this. So we're not like quite recommend these kind of racket for the younger kid. This is kind of a more like high level player will using this is called a training, heavy training racket that we will be using for generate more power on your arms. And the product that I'm going to introduce like today is like this is a training rubber band that is like really handy. And then when you take it out these, and then you can see this is just like a piece of rubber as a very light. And what we're going to do is like we're wrapping around the racket head. So once you these plastic thing wrap it on the racket head, and then the racket head will generate about 30 grams heavier. So that means that every time when you're really like swinging, use the power to string it, and then you can see the racket, like once the racket head going down for 30 grams heavier, and your wrist and your fingers will generate, like, you can see that it's already pressing your wrist going down. So once you do this, then we have a lot of whipping thing, whipping stroke that you can easily using these kind of racket, these rubber band to help you to generate more power on your wrist and finger power. And even though this one, if you can using that because it's heavier, that you can easily like, do underhand stroke. And the one good thing is like this is your own racket. So after you're putting these rubber band like on it, and then you feel the same, and then once that you don't have to take it off, you just exactly take the other racket with the same model with your original racket, and they will feel the same. But the different thing is like every time you will feel that the head is much heavier. So when you're doing it, then you have the wrist and the finger is like actually more power if you do this. This is more likely that we will using a lot of like angle hitting down, or like maybe clear to the baseline, and then we'll actually generate more power. And the faster that you're going to swing, you generate more power, and also the shuttle speed can go really fast. Before when I coaching, my concept is I like to do a lot of whipping so that you can hit the birdie and the birdie can fly much faster. And then I ask the manufacturer, the racket manufacturer, and see that they can make one racket with a heavier head and flexible shaft, and the bottom handle is lighter. But they said it's impossible. They were doing it because once the head is heavier, when we're really whipping, then the head and the shaft will be separated into two parts. So that means that it's very dangerous if we're using manufacture some of the racket like this. Every time when we're whipping, then the head might be fall off, then it might be get injured on the other side. So, and I think this is a very good invention from one of the Japanese. And then they are selling really well in Japan right now, and I'm sure that basically a lot of players from Japan, they are trying to using this kind of product to increase their wrist power. And then I try to really like it about these products, and then all my top player and all my team player, I start using these products is already like 3 or 4 months already. And then their racket speed is like, their wrist power is much better than before.